7. Barrett outside, the switch. Doncic goes, oh, what a great step! And then he hammers it home! Broke his ankles!
Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to a brand new video. I hope you guys are doing well, and today I'm talking about one of the most intriguing point guard prospects when it comes to the 2021 NBA draft, and his name is Sharife Cooper from Auburn. And is he the type of point guard the New York Knicks should really necessarily be taking a look at? He is someone who I really like, and he's really caught my eye. He is extremely talented, but he definitely has things that he really needs to work on if he really wants to succeed at the next level. Before entering the college season, this dude was being mocked in the lottery, but now after some NBA scouts have really seen some things that they don't like, he's starting to fall out of the lottery, or lately he's really been mocked towards the end of the first round, which is crazy because I think he has so much talent, but I really don't blame some NBA scouts in some departments. But if you end up enjoying this video, be free to give me a thumbs up and click that subscribe button for more content. I really appreciate the great amount of support. You guys are absolutely amazing. So no further ado, let's get right into it, y'all. As if Sharife Cooper entered the NBA today, he would already be one of the most gifted passers in the league. I'm not saying you'd be the most polished, but he would definitely be one of the most gifted, as he thrives in transition and he also thrives in the half-court setting. He literally makes everyone around him better. He looks like a strong-arm quarterback who absolutely has a rifle for an arm, like a Brett Favre or a Patrick Mahomes. The ball absolutely pops out of his hands. It looked like he was born with a ball in his hands, and it just looks so easy. It just comes natural to him when it comes to feeding others and just making the perfect pass, just really throwing dimes. How smooth and crafty he is coming off of a ball screen is something I absolutely love. He can deliver effortless one-handed sling passes. He excels hitting the roller with great anticipation and touch. Cooper has proven to be patient, probing around, manipulating defenses with hesitation moves in his arsenal and even his eyes. He can kill you in transition and in the half-court setting. His talent as a passer, though, is a blessing and a curse. Because he's so talented, he thinks he can fit any pass into any tight window, which can result into big-time turnovers down the stretch or in general. You can't doubt his confidence, though. He thinks he can make any pass out there on the basketball court at any level of difficulty. But he has also proven he needs to work on making quicker decisions. He needs to get the ball out quicker. For example, he makes the right read, but has the behind the back pass in his arsenal, which would have worked faster and gave the defense less time to adjust. But at the end of the day, it did work out at the college level, but a quicker decision with the behind the back would be crucial at the next level, getting a quick bucket or potential bucket from the outside. Now, getting into Sharife Cooper's ball handling, I definitely think he has some of the most unique handles when it comes to the 2021 NBA draft class. I like to call his handle rocking the baby to sleep, because he looks so relaxed and poised out there on the basketball court when handling the basketball. But yes, he has the ball on an absolute string. Now, a big time concern of Sharife Cooper's is definitely the jump shot. He doesn't get much elevation, and it's not even a set shot. He leans back on his jumper, and he has definitely shown flashes of creating separation, but it's not the quickest of shot in the world. But apparently he's starting to work with Lethal Shooter, who is one of the best shooting coaches in the world. But he did show very solid touch at the free throw line, shooting 82.5%. So that is a good sign at least, and it is on a huge sample size, after getting to the free throw line over 7 times a game, which is a good sign for his touch. I know he didn't even shoot 25% from beyond the arc, but 82.5% from the free throw line definitely doesn't happen by accident. Now getting into the physical profile, I think a good player to really compare his physical profile to is Chris Paul. He is someone who is 6 foot 175, but he has still succeeded as one of the best point guards in the game. Of course, he does a lot of things well, and we ignore his height because he's one of the best polished point guards out there in the world. When it comes to the height of 6'1", I know Chris Paul is 6 foot, but there's barely a difference. But I'm not sure if I really trust ESPN, and Sharife Cooper's 180 and Chris Paul is 175. But I'll say this, Sharife Cooper does not play like he's 6'1". Yes, he has the lack of above the rim athleticism, but he's also shown that he can hang in the air on tough finishes, and he's also shown that he's really aggressive and not afraid of contact. And if you guys are worried about his height and his jump shot, don't worry, he can create separation off the bounce of getting to the bucket. He's really shifty, he loves using the in and out cross, and he's a very quick first step. His ability to change directions is absolutely amazing and change speeds. He really gets the defense to bite. Now getting into his overall finishing. This is definitely one of my favorite parts of his game, but there is a big time thing he really needs to work on, only being 6'1" if he really wants to translate his finishing over to the next level. He has gotten away with some of his physicality and strength when it comes to the college level, but he's definitely going to have to learn to use that floater more in his arsenal. Actually, a breakdown with Mike Schmitz, he said he really likes his floater and he thinks he is a good floater, but if you go back and watch his film, he doesn't really use that floater that much. I think if he really wants to succeed at the next level, he definitely needs to use his floater more if he wants to finish over these tougher shot blockers, such as a Rudy Gobert and a Miles Turner. This is something he really didn't use a lot at college. He has to use more if he really wants to be great at the next level when it comes to his finishing, especially because he only stands at 6'1". Now getting into something I would absolutely love with Sharife Cooper, and this is the pick and roll with Mitchell Robinson. He's proven to be very shifty out of the pick and roll, using the in and out to fake downhill in one direction, when in reality he's looking to finish in the other direction or hit the roll man. He is proven to excel hitting the roller with great anticipation and touch. We know how athletic Mitchell Robinson is. If you even throw it like a million feet in the air, Mitchell Robinson is somehow going to come down with it because he's a freak of nature. And he would even thrive in pick and pop situations with Julius Randle making the right reads. And a really great thing that I'm really going to mention with Sharife Cooper is he knows how to initiate contact. He gets to the free throw line over 7 times a game, knocking down 82.5% of them is definitely not a fluke. But I love how he can catch defenders on his hip and really bait them in. Now getting into his mid-range game, Sharife Cooper, this is something he really needs to develop. He is someone who really likes to probe around and often can catch defenders on his hip and lose the defender behind him, and he ends up finding an easy lane to the basket. You will see that with the mid-range shot. And one day he's really going to have to develop this because he's not the most physically dominant, really physical specimen. He's not great from beyond the arc. He's a good finisher in college. He wasn't a fantastic one. There's nothing he's necessarily great at. So he's going to have to become a more versatile, well-rounded offensive player. And I think a mid-range shot is something he's really going to have to take a look at if he really wants to branch out his game. Chris Paul, is he the most athletic in the world at this point in his career? No, but he's really made sure that he has this well-rounded offensive game. We already know Sharife Cooper is a great passer, but Chris Paul can create separation and knock down difficult shots, and he does a really good job of catching defenders on his hip, probing around, finding the right shots from mid-range territory. A lot of people like to say the mid-range shot is dead, but it clearly isn't because Chris Paul is still effectively using it in the playoffs and he's in the Western Conference Finals. But yes, he is someone that averaged 20 points per game when it came to Auburn, but if he wants to continue to score the basketball, he's going to have to become more versatile, and I think the mid-range shot is definitely a great thing when it comes to Sharife Cooper because he can create separation with his shiftiness, so I think this shot will be available at the NBA level. Now getting into his mentality, this is something that's really huge when it comes to the point guard position because they are the leader. They're the leader of the troops. So is he confident? Is he a dog? And I'm going to say this right now, he is not fazed whatsoever. He plays with so much confidence. He takes pride in playing with a certain level of swag. And if he opens the game 0 for 4, it's not going to faze him at all. He's still going to make the right pass. He's not going to get in his own head at all. He plays with so much confidence and he's not afraid to continue to shoot the basketball. And if his shot isn't falling from the outside, he's going to look to attack. So him missing from the outside is not going to faze him, or missing shots in general. He's still going to look to take over games and make the right basketball play. Now getting into his defense. Defense is definitely one of the biggest areas of concern because he only stands at 6'1", so a bunch of people think he's not a good defensive player. I don't think he's necessarily bad. There's some things that he's good at. There's some things that he's bad at. First off, he has very quick hands. He's very reactionary. He's a lot of confidence of really guarding that passing lane and coming up with a steal. But he has good quick footwork, which is something I like. And the lack of wingspan definitely hurts him when it comes to defending outside jumpers. Like for the offensive player, it seems like Sharife Cooper isn't even there because he doesn't have the biggest of wingspan. And sometimes he could be overzealous with his hands at times because he's not the most physically gifted, because he's not the tallest in the world. He feels like he has to be overzealous, or he feels like he has to be ultra aggressive, or when defending a three-point shot, he knows he doesn't have the longest of wingspan, so he tries to jump as high as possible when it comes to defending shots, and sometimes it can end up being a foul at the three-point line. But yeah, Sharife Cooper is someone I really like. He's definitely going to make everyone around him better if he does end up being drafted by the New York Knicks. He's someone that could really dribble penetrate, so that's going to open up a lot of open looks from beyond the arc. And he's someone that could really thrive in transition with RJ Barrett. And something we really struggle with is busting out of that zone. And he really knows how to break out of it with some wizardly passes out there. But yes, if we want to break out of the zone even better, we need someone that can shoot the basketball. I know he isn't the ideal point guard for a lot of people. Yes, he averaged 20 points per game, but it was on like a lot of volume, taking a lot of shots, and he wasn't the greatest shooter from the outside. But let me know down below your thoughts, and peace out, y'all.